This is Courage Barbell, and I'm your host, Chad Ikes. Today, I want to talk about one of my favorite back movements. Well, let's just say it's pretty high up there on my favorite back movements. I have a lot of favorite back movements. We're going to talk about the row. The row is an exercise that I see a lot of people do incorrectly in terms of overloading it, doing it too heavy. And I'm not against heavy rows, but I think sometimes, more often than not, we need to drop the weight and really focus on the muscles that we're working and doing the movement absolutely correctly, because it's easy to try and use heavy weight and end up not working the muscles like we need to work them. So what I'm going to show you first, I can actually understand where some people will go, well, that's not how you should row, because it's not really correct with movement patterns. But the problem that I see is most people are horribly weak in this area. And if I try to get them doing the correct movement pattern, it seems like I have better results doing this first, this style first, and then moving them into correct movement patterns as their strength progresses. One of the things that people forget, or maybe don't even know, is during a bench press, during a squat, even during a deadlift, you have to hold your back tight and in the right position for an extended period of time. Now, this means you need to learn to control those back muscles and be able to hold them for that extended period of time. So what I do when I have new clients come in, say they have horrible middle back control. They have weak rhomboids. They have horrible control of their middle and lower traps. And they're just weak. And maybe they can row a lot of weight, but they can't row a lot of weight correctly because of these other weak areas. So what I've found out over years of training people is, for me, I've had better luck teaching them how to control those specific movements in more of an isometric way, and then moving them into what is a correct movement pattern. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of different rows, but I'm going to start with just a banded row, because this is a great way to start learning to move these correctly. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back up and get some tension on the band. I'm going to bend my knees, push my butt back a little bit so my back is upright. Now the first thing I'm going to do is pull my lats down, squeeze my shoulder blades together. What I'm actually trying to do here is I'm trying to take my right shoulder blade and put it in my left back pocket, and the left shoulder blade in my right back pocket. So right now I have scapular retraction in my shoulder blade, squeezing them as tight as I can, and I'm pulling my shoulders down as tight as I can. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to row in, and I'm turning my hands over, and really as I'm doing this, I'm trying to keep those scapula squeezed together and pulling those lats down as hard as I can, and then back out. And you'll notice my shoulders are not rolling forward. I'm keeping my scapula retracted and my shoulder blades down the whole time. But as I come here, I'm just trying to squeeze them harder and harder and harder. And I have a lot of intent on keeping that back in place and really squeezing those muscles. And as you can see right here, I'm closing my eyes, and I'm really picturing in my mind's eye, I'm picturing those shoulder blades squeezing and those rhomboids and those middle and lower traps and those lats pulling down. I'm really thinking about the action of those muscles. And this goal, when you're working on this, it's not necessarily trying to lift more weight. It's trying to get a medium to heavy weight that you can do the proper movement with and squeeze it and make it harder by using those muscles, by squeezing those muscles. Now, as guys get stronger, what I will progress them to is letting the shoulder blades out. So I've protracted my shoulder blades and I'm still squeezing my lats down. And then my first movement is going to be protraction, keeping the shoulders down, and then going into that row. Letting it out, still scapular retraction, going into protraction, Shoulder blades still. The whole time I'm holding, my lats are pulling my shoulders down. So retraction into the row, retraction into protraction. But this way, when you're really working on that retraction, you're really working on getting the squeeze together first. Instead of a guy who, say, takes a bunch of weight on a bent over row and goes, and they're never actually squeezing that shoulder blade. They're never actually locking that in. And you'd be surprised. I've had some guys with big traps, big lats. They can't row shit doing this way because that middle upper back is just weak as shit. All right. Hold on a minute. I'll be right back and we'll set you up and show you guys a couple different ways to work on this same focused exercise. I'm going to move to a T-bar row. This is obviously one that I see guys do wrong all the time. Guys try to load this thing up, get up here and they're like, and they never actually retract their scapula. They never really use those rhomboids, middle and low traps. So what I have my guys do is we get under here, pick it up. First thing you're going to do is scapular retraction. So I got my shoulders pulling into my opposite back pockets. Then I'm going to row up, and I'm really squeezing the shoulders down, keeping the elbows in. I'm holding those shoulder blades together, even at the bottom. Squeezing those shoulder blades. Just like that. Now, as I think their middle back strength, their rhomboid strength is picking up, we will then progress to more of a full movement. And by the way, you can tell how hard I'm breathing right now. I'm breathing hard because I have years in this sport. I was one of the greatest powerlifters in history. Put up some of the greatest numbers. I know how to lift with intent. I don't know how to not lift with intent anymore. So even as I'm showing these exercises, even with one easy plate on here, I can't help but squeeze and tighten everything. Actually, when I do seminars, I'm usually exhausted because the whole time I'm training, I'm mimicking what I want these people to do. So even when I'm watching someone squat, I'm like, oh God, they got to squeeze their back, and they start squeezing it. And I talk about intent a lot. This is intent. I'm making this weight heavy, and I've done it for so many years. It's natural to me. I have a hard time not flexing all the way. Okay, let me get back on subject again. So once they progress, what we're going to do, same positions on everything, but we're going to come up here. They're going to hold their shoulders down towards their butt, scapular retract, row it in. Let it down, protract. Scapular retract, row it in. Down, protract. And you can see how every rep, I'm fully retracting my shoulder blades. And the whole time, I'm keeping my shoulders pulled down. So I'm not actually using a lot of upper trap. It's all middle and lower trap. It's using my lats to keep my shoulders pulled down, stacking my spine, and rowing the weight up. Doing it this way will make you have a huge, thick, and strong back. And remember, when you're squatting, if you're walking out a heavy weight and you let your whole back relax, it's going to be really hard to get it back into the position you need to be in. You need to be in the right position from the time you unrack it till you're done with the squat, which means your upper back has to be flexed and tight for quite some time. We'll go more into that on other videos. So please like and subscribe. Move on to the next one. The one-arm row. I'm using a landmine. You can use these, you know, leaning on a dumbbell, supporting yourself on any other piece of equipment. And again, this is really simple stuff, but it works awesome. So what we're going to do for the newer guys with the weak backs, you're going to pull it off the floor. First thing, scapular retraction and shoulder depression. Row it in, down, in, down. Pull it into the belly. And you can see on my shoulder, I'm never protracting my shoulder. I'm keeping it, my shoulder blade retracted the whole time. Then, as you progress and get stronger, we're going to have protraction. Put the lat still down, retraction, row it in, let it down in retraction, protraction. Just like that. All right, people. That's 3 little quick examples of rows. Basically, all the rows are performed the same way. It's a simple concept. It's learning how to get full retraction of the scapula and depression of the shoulders, and then rowing and moving in that locked position. But then as you actually pick up the strength in your middle back, your middle upper back, you move into a full row with much better movement patterns, and then build your strength up in that way too while maintaining it. And honestly, I still throw in a lot of rows where I'm just supporting that weight, keeping it locked in. I do both of them. I think they're both important. You don't want to do one or the other all the time, but I think they're both important to mix them up and do them so you keep maintaining that static strength of the back, but you also are reinforcing the proper movement patterns when you need those, and for the health of the joint and everything. Another aspect of this that I've found a lot of people have is a lot of people really suck at scapular retraction because they fire their pecs. So they have antagonistic and protagonistic muscles competing against each other. When you want to retract, you need to relax all this so that you can retract. I'll do another video on that one later on, but just something to think about when you're really trying to get that tight scapular retraction. Peoples, please like this channel. Please subscribe to this channel. Please comment on this channel. Help me build the algorithms to keep building this channel and make it grow. Still working on t-shirts. I should be having some t-shirts come out soon. And just going to keep trying to work steady, keep this thing growing, keep putting out good videos for you guys, help you all get stronger, help you all reach your goals. Remember, intent. The reason we do these rows the way we do, and the reason they really start to work, is doing them with intent. Picture it in your mind's eye, the movement that you're supposed to be doing. Picture in your mind's eye the body squeezing together. Picture the muscles working. Work on that mind-muscle connection. It's going to pay off in the long run big time. Trust me on this one. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Have a great day. Have a great train. Keep on the lookout for new videos from Courage Barbell and Chad Ikes. Bye.